Yes, people, welcome back to the Interstellar audio podcast. This time around, I'm joined by none other than Ruckus. We're going to be talking about upcoming releases, all things D&B, diving a little bit into Ruckus's history and music, and the man behind the scenes, Adrian. So, first of all, Adrian, nice to meet you, man. Thanks for joining me today. How you doing?
No problem. I'm really good, thank you.
Ace, man.
Really good.
Ace. So, let's get some fundamentals out of the way first, right? Like, tell me where you're from, where you're about. We live pretty close together, right? We both live in Derbyshire. So, you lived there long? Has that been your home forever?
Yeah. Born and bred in Derby. My parents originally come from Ireland. I did move there very briefly, just prior to starting school. But my mum decided she wanted me to go to school back over here, so I kind of escaped growing up with the Irish accent. I did have a marginal. I did have a marginal one as a child. But my best friend Elliot, he kind of bullied it out of me.
Oh, nice! I would never have known that about you, man. Fair enough. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Do your families live over there then? Do you visit there?
Yeah. I'm first generation here, so it's just me and my parents, my brother, and I've got a cousin and auntie over here as well, but everyone else is still over in Ireland.
Wicked. My missus really wants to go to Ireland, so I'm hoping we get over there soon. It looks pretty cool.
It's cool. Wicked, yeah, it's lovely place. Yeah, man.
Wicked. So, I said we're going to talk about your journey in music and so on and so forth, but let's get some business out of the way first, right? Of course, I've been shouting about it for months now, but Interstellar Audio's first official release is by yourself, and absolute thanks to you for being on board, mate, jumping on board right from the start. Mad enthusiasm, mad encouragement. To be fair, it probably wouldn't have got to this point if it wasn't for your kind of like, yes, this is a good idea, you can make it work, let's do it. So personally from me, cheers for that, mate, it's appreciated. And of course, sorry, go ahead, mate, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's a pleasure, mate. It's been a really, really good process, to be fair. And it kind of got me out of the rut. I've had like a big musical rut lately, and having that bit of deadline kind of just helped me get over that a little bit. So yeah, thank you as well.
Wicked. I love something that's mutual like that. That's awesome. Good to hear it. So ISA 001 comes out on Friday the 27th of January, which as we speak is upcoming Friday. When listeners are listening to this, it could be soon, could be in the past, but either way, you have come forth with two absolute stonkers. At one point, the working title for the release was going to be the effing Stonkers EP, and you absolutely delivered on that. So nice one. These two tunes, we got You Know Better and Wrongdoing. I'm going to play them, and then as the first one plays, we'll let it drop, and then come in and tell us a little bit about how it came together. If that's all right.
Yeah, sounds good.
Fingers crossed all my technicals work. Here we go. So this is the first track from the release. This is called You Know Better by Ruckus, out on Friday the 27th. You can get it on Beatport and listen to it on Spotify. And it'll be on full release on all platforms 2 weeks after that, February the 10th. Just let this one play for a minute. go absolute stonker, as I said it was going to be. You absolutely delivered on that, man. What a classic tune. Can't wait for people to hear that in full. Yeah, tell me how that came together, bro.
Well, the vocals, they're something that I've had for ages and I've wanted to use for a long, long time. They're actually like, I think they're about 130 BPM. So, kind of when, so when you stretch them and like, I like to do a lot of layers of pitch, it's kind of give that like cool harmonic. So I based the whole track around that. But I started making kind of like a dubstep grime tune and I used that as the bass line like a year ago. I never finished it. So then I got the idea, you know what, I'm just going to have like a mad switch in this. Like I love tracks that kind of start off one way and then take you in a different direction. You know what I mean? Kind of, that's what I wanted anyway, to kind of like what happened here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so I stole that bass line. And at first the drums were really basic, like they weren't as scatty as they are now. They were just like a two-step kick snare pattern. But yeah, so I just layered like a load of different chops or breaks. And in FL Studio, there's like this glitch plugin that I use a lot on drums to get those kind of snare stutters and stuff. So yeah, I just kind of rolled with it, to be honest. Like I didn't have a plan. So this bit here, where it switches back to the kind of original, that came about as a bit of a fluke. I was just playing around and I was like, oh, this flows really nice. So I was just going to have it be like grimy drop and then break back down. But then I thought I'd do two sections, you know, and then break it down after that. So yeah, it's one of those that I started it with the vocal with no direction and it just fell into place really well.
That's wicked.
Which was good organic. Because I was getting really, because I was really frustrated at the time. I just wasn't making anything. Every time I sat down to do something, it was just like, you know, there's too much pressure on it. But that, it just flowed. And yeah, it was like you say, it was like an organic process to make it. It was good. I enjoyed that tune.
Oh mate, I'm relieved to hear you say it just flowed, because I know that I was kind of badgering you a little bit because we were getting a little bit close to time, weren't we? And I was like, oh no man, I need it by the weekend. And you're like, yeah, I've got this. And you just absolutely delivered. It's an absolutely banging tune right there. So thank you very much for that one. Really love that. Let's neatly segue into the second track, shall we? So good pair of tunes. Got a nice vibe together. They work really well together. Same routine. We'll let this one play and then we'll talk about it. This is Wrongdoing. It's not fair to call it the B-side, but it's track 2 on the release. Here we go.
Always come back when I miss you. Every time you're gone, every time I do you wrong, you always come back when I miss you. You always come back when I miss you. You always come back when I miss you. Come back when I miss you. Every time you're gone, every time I do you wrong, you always come back when I miss you. You always come back when I miss you.
Big. This one's so big. When you said this to me, I was like, oh my God, this is killer. Absolutely love this one.
Thank you, man.
Tell me a bit more about this one then, dude.
So again, it's the vocals are from the same sample. I can't remember where I got them from now. Loop Cloud, I think. It's just some really random sample pack I found ages ago. Again, they're like 130 BPM, which is why you get that really cool contrast between the pitches and the stretches and stuff. This one, to be honest, like I made an 808, and then I just wanted to see how many different ways I could saturate it, and every single bass line, the wobbles, everything is just from the same one 808 one shot that I made in Vital. Bounced it out and then just like stretched it, manipulated, distorted it, just tried to make as many different sounding basses as I could out of it. So it's just, again, it was just a fun tune. That just let me play around. Like, I wanted to make something with like that nice jungle break, kind of vibe going on. And I started with the drums, and then obviously incorporated the bass, and then the vocals just sat beautifully. It's like, oh, nice sound. Yeah, again, it was very organic. It flowed nicely. There was no. This is the first one, wasn't it? This is the first one that I made, and I can remember making the drop, sending it to you, and just being really excited to finish it, which was always a good sign when you're making a tune, to be fair.
Yeah, man. When I was listening to it, and the first time I played it, the sort of 808 hits just before the drop. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh shit, we're in for a ride right now," which is awesome. So excited about it.
Yeah,
cool.
I played it in Derby called Marley's. It's like a Jamaican cafe, and they do nights there. My friend's got a night there, and they've got like a big old wall of dub sound system, and you should hear them 808s on that thing, mate. The whole place is rattling. It was insane.
That's wicked, man. That's absolutely wicked. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you play live next weekend, right? So yeah, they're the two tunes.
Yeah, Saturday.
Looking forward to it. They are the two tunes that we're talking about. Just bring back some backing music while we chat. Just in case I didn't say it already, which I think I did, but anyway, Friday 27th they'll be out, and then Friday the 10th of February out everywhere on all different platforms. So nice one, man. That's going to be one hell of a way for Interstellar Audio to make itself known on the scene. Absolutely bust the doors in as we were hoping to do. So huge thanks for that, man. Absolutely killer. So we talk about you then a little bit more now. So I'm going to hit you with some quick fire questions. If you haven't got an answer, just pass and we'll move on. But then we'll do some more detailed stuff, right? You ready for this? You up for it? Game show style. So what's your biggest influence from your biggest D&B influence? Who's your biggest D&B influence?
What, production-wise?
Yeah, just in general.
Production-wise? Rockwell by far.
Nice. Left field answer. I like that. Any particular reason?
Yeah, man. Like, when he first came about in the scene, he's just pushing the boat, and he has been ever since. He's not rigid with his style. His drums are always absolutely on point. His mix downs are insane, and I still haven't heard a cleaner sub bass line than his. Yeah,
no, that's fair. And to be fair, then I can see your inspiration a lot, because you're quite wide reaching in your production. In case people don't know, your back catalogue's it's got quite a lot of breadth to it, right? From the sort of more jungly upfront tunes that we just played, a lot of minimal and a lot of liquid as well. So, touching all corners of the scene there with what you do. So it makes sense that you would call out someone like Rockwell as your influence. Good call. Next quick fire question.
A lot of...
Go on, mate. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, no, go on.
Okay.
I was just going to say I'm sitting on a lot of jump at the minute as well, but it's not seeing the light of day, that.
Oh, like proper in your face jump up with the lasers and the frog noses. Nice. I'm excited to hear some dubs. That would be cool. All right, cool. Next one. Biggest non-drum and bass influence.
Ooh, that's a hard one. Got to be Jay Dilla, man.
Oh, sound. Yeah, like a bit of hip hop, yeah. Good stuff. All right, yeah, keep going. Yeah. Keep going. Hip-hop. Have you got a party trick?
Yeah, man. I don't know anymore, man. I'm getting a bit old now. Maybe back in the day.
yeah. Mine used to be like opening bottles with spoons and lighters and stuff, but that's not cool anymore. So I ain't got anything good.
I used to do that. We used to have a samurai sword that we used to lock the end of the bottle off with.
Nice. Sabering. Love it. Cool. Have you got a random fact or a favourite film or TV show?
favourite TV show, The Wire. Got to be The Wire.
Classic, yeah. Always rated. And your favourite... I'm going to go with favourite release of 2022 that's not yours. It's a wide question, that, isn't it? It's a wide question.
I don't know. Yeah.
I always struggle to answer that question as well.
One. Ooh.
There's too many, right?
Yeah. Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Last year was big, yeah. I couldn't answer that question when I got asked it either. So there we go. Some quick fire questions out of the way. Know a little bit more about you now as a person. But specifically, let's talk music, right? So in a bit, I want to talk about how you specifically got into drum and bass, but I asked you to send me across some tunes that kind of influenced you as an individual in your music world, and your kind of growth through music, or meant a lot to you and so on, and you sent me 5 tunes. So what I'm going to do is, similar to what we did before, play a little bit of them, and we'll talk about them and what they mean to you. So just give me a chance to do my really badly produced live show here, and we'll get them going. So I think this should work. First up tune, you sent me a track called Fall in Love by Slum Village, and we'll let this play and then talk about it.
1, 2. Things you do, don't sell yourself to fall in love. Things you do. 1, 2.
Ladies loving my music, it's like some sex shit. Niggas trying to grip up my mic like it's a dig. Run around the corner to pick up the new shit.
I says in the deck so niggas could catch rat.
I'm the motherfucker grip up the mic like it's a joke. Niggas fall in love with the music like it's a hole.
Put down your mic, you lost your whole road. You take it too seriously like it's a gamble.
Fuck this rap shit, I listen to classical. In the studio, new as usual. Love it, my lyrical. For bitches that you would know. I'm out of this, cause you wanna be below. Y'all niggas in love with the S. Y'all niggas in love with the S.
There you go. Nice chilled out hip hop vibe to start things off with, man. Tell me about what that tune means to you.
Like I mentioned earlier, Jay Dilla's probably like the biggest in terms of like impact of music to me. And when I met my wife, she was also like a massive hip hop head, and we really bonded over things like Jay Dilla, MF Doom, things like that. Because, you know, coming from Derby, you don't meet a lot of people who are into that kind of side of hip hop. All I knew was like my friends that I grew up with, who I grew up listening to, and then obviously I met Helen. And yeah, you know, we really bonded over this. So this instrumental, Helen actually walked down the aisle to that at our wedding. We got our friend to play it on saxophone. Like, it was incredible. Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah, so, you know, this song, it means a lot to me. You know, obviously it reminds me of that day. It reminds me of like summertime. It reminds me of getting to know Helen, like when we first met and stuff. So it's a big one for me, this tune, really is.
Oh, it's a wicked tune, man, and especially if it means that much as well. And fair play for finding someone who'd be able to play it on sax, no doubt. Do you remember the first time you heard it?
Yeah.
It's a random question, but do you happen to remember the first time you heard it?
Yeah, I don't. No, it's just one of those tracks that just seems to have always been with me. It's, you know, since like a teenager. So yeah, it's just always been around this track.
That's absolute banging tune, man. And if I'm honest, I hadn't heard it either before, so it's definitely got in my playlist. I really like it. So there you go. That was your first tune that you sent in. The next one I'm going to play is called Benzie Box. It's by Danger Doom, MF Doom, Danger Mouse, and CeeLo Green. Here we go. Another hip hop vibe. This one reminds me of Dead Prez, but let this play.
Yeah, the bass line.
yeah, this is sort of similar instrument.
His name's Doom. They wonder just who is he, but don't worry. Believe me, he'll get busy when it comes to poetry.
jump rope, double dutch, then turn on the mic with a thumb stroke, subtle touch, cuddle clutch. Is this thing on like the fling with Mrs. King Kong this spring gone? Sing a song of slap happy crappiness. He came to blow like it was strapped to his nappy chest. Surely I jest, the best on a wireless mic, not an eye test, yet I digress. But why stress? Try and remember when maybe bit the tender-skinned babysitter Gwendolyn. The type to hit and run and go tell a friend. Word to El Muerto, cucaracha, exoskeleton. He know, flow like interstellar wind. Toe a rap gin by his toe into hell again. 1, 2, check me too. Loose wreck, see through your gooseneck EQ.
Another one with a wicked vibe there. The flow on that's incredible as well, man. Tell me more about this tune for you.
Yeah, Dude's king, man. Again, when I first met Helen, we went our first day. We went out of town, and we had a few drinks now, and we got talking about music. And she told me, like, you know, this is one of her favourite albums, which I have bought. I've not got it here, but yeah, we bought it on record, so we've got like the it's beautiful. I wish I could show you, but yeah, anyway, it's a very special one. So I was walking home with Helen, and she was telling me about it. And like I said, I didn't really know many people who kind of knew about Doom and stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, you're really into it. And then she started like rapping that jump with me, like jump rope. She did like the best MF Doom impression I'd ever heard. It was such a brilliant moment. So I've got it tattooed. I don't know if you can see.
Awesome, yeah,
Jump
awesome.
in like jump rope. After that moment, it was brilliant. Yeah. So at that point, I was like, wow, I love this woman. She's brilliant. it was a proper nice moment.
Oh man, that's so cool. That's so cool. For the benefit of anyone who's listening to this rather than watching this, Ruckus showed me the tattoo on his arm, and you can go and see that on a YouTube video. Just a little plug for the fact that we put these on YouTube now as well. So yeah, check that one out. Cool. Banger of a tune, man. Banger of a tune. So the next one, I'm going to move on to the next one. Second here, if I can get this working. Here we go. Here we go. Next one, Acid Raindrops, People Under the Stars. Again, another one that I hadn't heard before. Continuing with the hip hop vibe.
Start crossing intersections. We learning life's lessons while we blaze discernible lessons. A man but still a child, and I have so many questions. Struggle all my life to evade the misconceptions. Then find a place to live between the negatives and positives while trying to make money, slinging synonyms and homonyms. I went to Pop's house so I could visit moms and them. Cut to the mall, copped a brand new pair of Timberlands, then dipped down a one-way trying to scoop up double K and chill with my people on this bright and sunny day. My nigga Spliff was sipping backs. I'm slapping hands with gas. Located shady spots so we can circulate the stress. Mary Jane invades my brain. Now I can't complain. I'm saying, what else is there to do besides relax? Let the problems in your mind become ancient artifacts. Perhaps these raps can help you alleviate the things that's got you tripping. Here, watch me demonstrate. First, you ignore the nonsense and clear your conscience. Let your pen touch the paper, write verbs and consonants. As the words become a sentence, you start to feel indifferent. The stress is out your mind. You feel like the weight was lifted. Terrific. I'm glad we had this time to discuss. I'm outro. Call me if you wanna blaze one up. When the stress burns my brain just like acid raindrops. Mary Jane is the only thing.
Love that.
I let the music take over my soul, body, and mind.
Reminds me of some happy times. Not that I know the tune, but what the lyrics are talking about there.
Mary Jane is the only thing that makes the pain stop. Just let the music take over your soul, body, and mind.
And kick back, relax one time, and you will find.
I try to keep it stress-free, take every day at a time. Make sure the family's in place and let the music unwind. I got plans to take charge.
See, like I know the hook and I know the sample from where it's from as well, but this like tune in full I hadn't heard before.
Yeah. Pete Rock did this as well for Incognito, which is a really good track, but this was my favourite.
So I'm probably going out on a limb, but I'm guessing this one reminds you of some similar times when you were a bit younger to what it reminds me of. Some happy days, some lazy days, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's it. 2000, summer of 2005, I think, is like what this track brings me back to. Just carefree days with all my mates, you know, just a year out of school, still didn't know what we wanted to do, you know, it's just good times, man. Good times, nice summer vibes, you know, spending a lot of time like together outdoors and in the Peak District, and happy times.
Yeah, see, actually, that makes me kind of jealous now because I didn't grow up here, but obviously, like, we moved here because of the Peak District being a Peak, well, not just for the Peak District, but also part of it. Spend so much time outdoors. Love some of the things we've got on our doorstep around here, but yeah, if I'd have had that luxury in those days too, man, yeah, I'd have been lost in time, just watching the world go by, stood at the top of Kerber Edge or something like that.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the vibe.
Yeah, it was cool. That's it's cool. We used to drive up at night time. We used to camp out, and then we'd go for like walks and stuff, and it was just amazing. Cool place to grow up. Like, we never really knew at the time. You know, you kind of hate where you grow up, don't you? But looking back on it, you know, it was wicked. It was such a good time, such a good place to grow up.
Yeah, man, definitely. There's so much around here. I've got high hopes for my kids. I'm glad we took the plunge to move this way and make a family, and sure your kids benefit from it too, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So from here on out, we move away from the hip hop scene and we get into some different styles of music. So I'm excited to hear how your tastes change and what brings you to these kind of things, right? So just dip this one down. The next track is called Scram by Plump DJs. I'm going to try and move it on a little bit to a bit where it builds up and kicks in. Here we go, yeah. So yeah, this one's a very different vibe. We'll let this run and then you can talk to me about it. Vibey, this one, man.
Yeah, man.
It's got like elements of like a slower version of some Prodigy tunes. Not trying to do it a disservice, but it's got like a similar soundscape type thing.
Yeah, especially that lead thing.
Big build up. Love that. It's like Chemical Brothers meets Prodigy, a little bit of that sort of vibe.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, tell me about this track, man. How did it make its way into your world?
So when I first started DJing, how old was I? 17, 18, I think it was. I was still living, 17. The last year I lived with my mum, I moved out when I was 17. So yeah, it was around that time. My next door neighbour was a student house, and there was always constantly new students, obviously, every year. This dude moved in, I think he was a junior doctor, and he was a DJ. And it's something, like, I've had decks in the past, I've just had some belt drives that I just played records on, I never really mixed or anything. So he had a pair of 1210s, and then I went round, and he was kind of showing me, and he was into breakbeat. And I was like, yeah, this is so cool. Because obviously I loved hip-hop. Breakbeat was kind of like jump up, same sort of beat structure at 130 BPM. It was just like a logical thing to like blow my mind and get into. I like garage as well, which is, you know, a bit more of a like liquid breakbeat kind
Yeah,
of thing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, he was showing me some of his records and that, and it was there I learned to mix. And then he ended up selling me his 1210s and a load of records. So that kind of brought on the love affair. And this tune was one of the records that he sold me. And this one blew me away, like the electricity sound and everything. When I turned 18, I started going to Stealth in Nottingham to a night called Spectrum, which was like a legendary breakbeat night. It was ridiculous. They had all of the biggest artists in the scene. Plump DJs played one night, and I can remember hearing this for the first time on a Function One sound system, and I was just like, "Fucking hell!" Like my love affair with the snare drum was born that night, because the snare on this it's just metallic. It's like a sledgehammer. It's amazing. And you know, those electricity sounds and the big rumbling deep bass and stuff. It was really opened my eyes to like how electronic music should sound on a big system, you know. So this is a big one for me. Probably still my favourite breakbeat track, to be fair. It's definitely up there.
It's interesting because like we're a similar age, and I grew up just outside Oxford, and when we started going to nights, like actually music nights, you know, there wasn't really a scene for breakbeat, if I'm totally honest. There was lots of drum and bass, there was lots of jungle, and there was lots of hip hop, but there wasn't any breakbeat really. So, I feel like I missed out a little bit because I've not really heard too much of it. But yeah, it's a big tune. It
was cool. It was a cool scene, to be fair, and it's a shame. I think it's kind of making a bit of a comeback lately, but it definitely died. Like the scene definitely. You know, like Fidget House came out and that kind of took over. A lot of the breakbeat producers like moved on to that at times, and it just kind of got left behind. There's a big scene in Liverpool where my friend went to university, and then Nottingham was amazing. Like I say, they had Spectrum, they had the Marcus Garvey Ballroom where they used to put on massive breakbeat nights and stuff. It was cool. I feel very fortunate to have got to be part of that scene, to be honest. Like I got a good 3-4 years of that scene before everything kind of went more drum and bass and like I say, electro and Fidget House and stuff. So yeah, man, it was a good scene. I do miss it.
It's interesting. Do you make music like that
ever? No, not really. No.
Yeah. I wonder if it would come back or not. I don't know. I don't know if there's a market for it or not. Like, it'd be interesting to know if it would come back or not. Anyway, it's a good tune. It's a good tune. It's a good tune. The next one in your list is a track called Angels by Vexed. Again, different vibe.
This is quite a long tune, so you might have to skip in a little bit.
Yeah. Here we go.
Burning the defiance of all. The angels fell.
Wild. That bass line's wild. Love that.
It is, man. It really lives up to today as well. It doesn't sound like it's like nearly 20 years old.
That's mad. You
Crazy,
wouldn't know, would you?
really. Yeah.
It's got that like
Yeah,
industrial
it is, man.
sounding intro that's almost like you could think for a second it's off a Nine Inch Nails record or something like that. And then that bass line comes in and it's like, wow, where's this come from? It's got like a swung beat to it. It's dope. I like that a lot.
Yeah, man.
What's the backstory for this one for you, mate?
So I mean, you've got to bear in mind, like when I first heard this, dubstep wasn't really a thing. They were still kind of just experimenting with garage music, which is where this comes from. We were at Stealth again, and there was a guy called Cursor Minor playing he used to produce like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, like industrial house and like really off-key garage, like kind of a lot of techno influence and stuff. And he dropped this, and me and my friend Goddard, who's downstairs currently, we were just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'd never heard anything like it. Like that LFO bass line just over the drums and stuff. I was like, oh my God. So I just made a beeline for the booth, and I was like, dude, what is this? Like, I've never heard anything like it. So he told me anyway. It didn't come out for a long time after, but it was mint. And around that time as well, we used to go to a place called Hard to Find Records in Birmingham, and they had this like whole section. Again, you know, like I say, you know, dubstep wasn't really a thing, and we got these records, and it's like experimental garage. We didn't know what setting to put the deck on, whether it
was it a 33 or 45.
So we were playing it dead and then we played it dead fast. So we didn't really know, and it sounded amazing either way. You know, it took us like 6 months until it came out, and then we're like, oh right, okay, this is supposed to be at this tempo. So yeah, man, it was such a fresh time, and that was cool. That was a cool thing to live through as well. You know, having that new genre emerge and just, you know, being at the forefront, like, oh my God, this is like brand new. You know, like I don't really think that's happened since, really, has it?
Yeah, not in my experience.
You know, obviously stuff like drill. Not like a whole new electronic.
Yeah.
You know, a whole new electronic. It was cool.
Because there was almost two.
This is a big one.
There's like two routes into that scene, right? So, I mean, from my experience, anyway, right? People either came to it from garage that went darker, or from drum and bass that went slower. And so, like, my route into dubstep was down like the kind of scream and Ruckus side of things, because I was listening to drum and bass, I was mixing drum and bass. And then you'd get like these obscure flips that were like, what's this? This is completely different to the tune on the other side. And it was that kind of like half-time drum pattern. And you're like, this doesn't mix with anything I've got, but it sounds fucking fantastic. What is this? And yeah, so like I came into it from that side, like some of Scream's stuff, not his early stuff, because obviously he'd been doing it for a long time, but by the time I got onto it, like Screamers in Volume 3 and stuff like that, you know, the tunes are just wild. Absolutely love it. Yeah, it's mad.
They were.
It's mad, right? Because I went to a festival thing last year, year before, 21, and basically hadn't heard dubstep in a really long time, and then just randomly in the middle of all these drum and bass sets was Sicaria Sound, female duo, and they play some absolutely banging like deep dubstep, and I stood at the back and I said to the girl I was with, I'd forgotten about dubstep being this good, but just like on loud sound systems, big speakers, I was like, this is good. Kind of reignited my love for that 140 sound, so I'm glad that happened. But yeah, I was going to say, you can see in your music, in your like full spectrum of back catalogue music, you can see influences from all this stuff, like that industrial sound, the grittiness, the real deep, like wobbly LFO type basses, you know, all that sort of stuff comes through in your sound really good. There's one more tune in your list that you sent me, and I'll purposefully save this one till last because it stands out as being very different from everything else that came before. Also, it's a tune that I relate to quite a lot. I'd probably put it on my list if I was asked this same thing as well. So it's a tune that needs no introduction, really. Just going to let it play. I'm just going to let it play. This is, of course, Toxicity by System of a Down. Unmistakable sound. When you sent this across to me, you said that this tune taught you that something could be dark and beautiful, and that kind of like triggered a core memory in me. Yeah, absolutely relate to that. It's an absolute tune.
Eating seeds is a pastime activity. The toxicity of our city, of our city. No! What are you on the wall? How do you on disorder? Disorder! No! Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder! Disorder! Disorder!
So yeah, man, tell me about this one for you.
This is one of those tracks. When I first heard it, it stopped me in my tracks. Like, I think for me personally, this track is as close to perfect as music can be. I think every single element of it is just nailed on the head. You know, it's just amazing, and every single sense of it, like from the vocals to the instrument to everything, the drum. Because I used to be a drummer. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that. No,
I used to drum. So I taught myself then as it's cool. God bless my mum, because I used to have this massive drum kit in the living room, and I just used to beat the fuck out of it every
That's
night.
brilliant.
But so drums are like a big thing to me. You know, always have been. Like even in my production now, like if I don't get the drums right, then the track gets scrapped.
Yeah.
So just the drums in this alone, you know, they just kind of really blew my mind. All of the switch ups, like the intricacy, everything, and just everything about it. You know, from this.
The double time bit, yeah.
And then his vocals when they come back in here.
So good.
Yeah, it blew my mind, mate.
So good. Like, I know Rick Rubin produced this, right? But the sort of Rick Rubin can only work with the ingredients he's got in the pot, right? He's a great chef, but he needs the ingredients in the pot. And these guys together, like the guitarist, the drummer, the singer, the bass, it just comes so well together. I remember the first time I saw like the video for this, and I was like, how many cymbals has that guy got? That's just nuts. I've never seen anything like it. Come on, surely that's just a flex. And then you like listen to the track and watch the track, and you're like, oh no, man, this guy's absolutely killing it. Like 100% killing it.
That's really cool.
Wicked tune.
It was one of my daughters. When she was a baby, she used to love it, and she was a big System of a Down fan, and she was a toddler.
That's amazing. So, like new metal, I don't know. It's not fair to call that new metal, but new metal was massive for me growing up. You know, so I was in that world before I was in anything electronic. Really, I kind of went from sort of hip hop to rap rock to. You know, Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down, Linkin Park, whatever you want to call it, Slipknot, all that sort of stuff. And then was kind of like this half hip hop head, half new metal type head. Because I was never really that into like proper, what you'd call proper metal. I mean, I got a lot of respect for it, but I preferred the like faster type, rappy type lyrics. But System of a Down, absolutely incredible. You know, their track Aerials that's on that same record, which is a completely different vibe, like somber. It's almost a metal ballad, isn't it? But so good.
Beautiful.
So yeah, they are the tunes that you sent me that mean something to you, and I appreciate you sharing that with us and talking to us about the kind of history of how they are for you. But what's missing from that is, of course, how you then go from that kind of influence to the drum and bass. So, you know, we've heard you talk about garage, heard you talk about breakbeat and other types of music. So tell me a bit about how you end up making drum and bass, DJing drum and bass, and your sort of experience through the scene.
So, I mean, drum and bass has always been around. It's just definitely music like I've always been around. a friend of mine's older brother, he was DJ when I was growing up. We played a lot of house, garage and jungle. He went to University of Manchester and used to have a night there called We Are Nice People. He was like a really cool dude. And he's another one who was like a big influence to me for like DJing and stuff. So I've always been around it, but I think like the big turning point for me where I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing," is again I was at Hard to Find Records, and they had this old Renegade Hardware VA compilation album called Quantum Mechanics, and it's from like the back end of the 90s. It was quite old, but my God, like if you listen to it now, I don't know if you've ever heard it.
No, I haven't.
The tracks still sound absolutely fresh, like they were produced, last week. The production on it was insane, and I think there was about 8 to 10 tracks on it. So I just used to mix the whole vinyl back to back, until I built my drum and bass collection. So that was like my big segue into it. And yeah, it just kind of went from there. I was always into more like rolling neuro kind of stuff, especially the like mid 2000s. Neuro sound.
Stuff like Black Sun Empire and that kind of thing, is that what you mean?
Yeah. A lot of like noisier as well, obviously. But yeah, a lot of my friends were into Liquid. They were into more like the Perez side of stuff, more into like Exit Records, D-Bridge, things like that. So eventually I kind of got more into that like more moody, deep, techie stuff up until about, I'd say 2012, and then I just stopped listening to drum and bass completely, just lost complete touch with the scene and didn't pick it back up until I'd say 2019. So I missed a massive chunk of the scene. And yeah. So when I got back into it, I heard Poison by Boo, and I was like, this is crazy, like, because it was just such a different track. It had a bit of humour in it, and I was like, cool, this is cool. And I liked how the drums had got a lot more stripped back, because obviously everything back then was proper breaky. There was still a lot of sampling going on. So, it was cool, kind of refreshing. But then I'd never heard foghorns before. So when I heard them, I was like, this is crazy. Like, like the bass lines used to be moving. And then all of a sudden they're just big walls of sound, which I loved at first. Yeah, they got rinsed a bit, but like when I first fresh got back into the scene, it was cool. It was all refreshing,
Yeah, 100% when that stuff was happening.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. It's great stuff. Really enjoyed it. Absolutely relate to that. Yeah. How'd you go? When did you start making D&B then? Were you producing in that time in between, or did you just pick it up in that sort of 2019 time?
When did I started producing music in about 2010. Again, my friend Goddard downstairs, he got a crap copy of Fruity Loops back in the day, and we thought it was just something you made a loop in. We didn't realise you could sequence a track, so we used to make drum loops, and we'd load in on like the little sampler, and then we'd load in a synth for a bass line, and we'd just let that play for 8 bars until we met this guy. We met this guy called Charlie Fan Club. He used to produce electro. He's probably still about, I don't know, to be honest. He's from Derby. He got quite big. He was on like some Mix Mag CDs and stuff. He showed us, and we were like, fuck it, you can do this. This is insane. And then we started making breakbeat, house, hip hop, and drum and bass. I can remember I met Rockwell once. He came back to a friend's party after he played in Derby, and like I say, he was like my hero, and I was steaming, so I made a right dick out of myself, like trying to pick his brain on how he made music and stuff. Like, it was a bit of a disaster, to be fair.
We've all done it, man.
So I did. We have. So I made it a bit, but I never really took it serious. It was just something we did for fun. And then my friend got an MPC and a microphone synth, so we started just making hip hop on hardware. I made a lot of beats and stuff. And then, like I say, 2012 came. I just gave it all up and picked it back up in 2019, I think it was. And then I met Liam Ominous, who's really good. He became one of my best friends, like through just meeting on the internet. So he kind of just, kept me interested in it, I guess, because I probably would have just fizzled out again. And then so I'm still here anyway.
Well, you've been making so much music though, man. Like when you look at your back catalogue, there's so much, and to think that, especially just in the D&B world, like to think if all that's come from the last 3 years, then that's amazing, man. Fair play.
Thanks. I think lockdown helped a lot, and a very patient wife.
Yeah, fair dues. Did you get time off during lockdown, or did you have to work it?
I was a student.
Oh yeah, sound right. Yeah, because that's a nice little segue there. Because then you told me the other day that you'd gone and done a degree as an adult student, which I think is wicked. And I said to you that I bet there's a lot of people out there that don't know how doable that is. So if you're comfortable talking about it, I wanted to kind of ask you a little bit about A, like what made you decide to do that, and B, what was your experience like as a dad, right? As a dad that goes and makes a decision like that.
Yeah, so the reason is a bit wild, to be fair. I broke my collarbone because I cycled into a badger.
That's wicked. That's so good.
Yeah. So straight up, that's like a massive dose of fate. That it's like just, I was riding home because I used to ride afternoons till night, and I was riding home through, I don't know if you know Draper, between like Longheaton and Spon.
Yeah.
And I was coming over a railway bridge, and I just went straight into a badger, straight over my handlebars, broke my collarbone, and I was off work for ages. And it's something I'd been toying with for a long time, but Helen just said, you want to do it, just go for it. So I was a bit scared because obviously, like I said, I had kids and stuff, but the funding is brilliant. You get like dependent grants, you get full like allowance, which is like 14k, and then you get your grants and stuff. It works out about 25,000 for the year, so it's plenty to live off.
Yeah.
And obviously it's tax free. And yeah, best thing I ever did. So I didn't really get any GCSEs, so I had to do my foundation degree, bachelor's, and then I stayed right through till masters. So I was there for 5 years in total, which was a slog, but it worked out well because I had a young child, and then I had another daughter who was born while I was there, so I could be, I had a lot of time to spend time with them and stuff. So, it worked out in many, many ways, and it's led to a really good career. So if anyone's thinking of doing it, just do it. I just get up and do it, go for it. And
it's really good to hear that you sort of went right through from like foundation degree to a master's. Like I'd been in the same boat. I'm sure a lot of people have been in the same boat. There's like, and maybe this isn't your experience, and I'm just sort of generalising now, but there's like a lot of people that sort of in their teen years, like towards the end of school, creative people that feel like, I'm going to be a creative, so I'm just going to do like any old job, and then I'll concentrate on my creative outlets. And then you find yourself like 25, 28, 30, the creative thing hasn't sort of got to the point where it's paying your bills, and also you kind of missed out on having like a career-minded situation, so you're sort of still stuck in that kind of like entry-level situation. And I'm not saying that was your experience, but there's a lot of people that get stuck in that rut, and then I think it's good to know that there are opportunities there to go and do different things. Like my experience was different but similar. Like I was working in kitchens and doing like I started off washing pots, and then learnt to cook and tried to get that as far as I could get when creative stuff's not going anywhere. I'm not going to be Andy C. Shit, I need to pay the bills. And then I was fortunate, I met some people that were willing to give me an opportunity with this transferable skills that I've got, and now I work in project management. So there are ways to make that jump if you're kind of at that stage, and I think that adult student thing is a really powerful thing. Is it mechanical engineering that your master's is in?
Yeah. So I did mechanical engineering, like just pure mechanical engineering at bachelor's, and then I did an integrated master's, so your final year is just integrated into it, which is a good way to do it because you get full undergrad funding then. And so I've got MEng, mechanical engineering out of it.
It's clever to know because sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, buddy. I was going to say my wife, she did masters, but she had to like fund that herself, so that's an extra point that you can do it integrated, and sort of you're still covered with a little bit of help while you're doing it, right? That's good to know as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. It's difficult when you're self-funding it. A lot of the people who were on my bachelor's, they went and they just did the MSc rather than the MN, and they only got enough to cover the course fees, and then obviously they had to live and work and do their masters, which was it's no small feat, is it? It's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So is it working out for you, right? It's the right move? I mean, a lot of people say they've got a degree and they don't get to use it, but you're working in a field where it's useful, it's required, and hopefully things are going the right direction for you, right?
Yeah. So I got a really good job in like the mechanical design industry, because of my life experience and the fact that I did stay and do a master's. I went from graduate to lead engineer within like 4 months. So nice. I'm like so I'm like an engineering manager now. I've got a team of like 12 engineers under me, and yeah, just like I had like a career development interview. I just told them, I want to keep going, so I'm getting mentored by the capability lead of the company and stuff. So yeah, you just got to hustle, ain't you? You just got to go for it and push it,
That's it.
I guess that looks a lot of it.
Sorry, carry on, mate. Sorry.
Right place, right. No, I was just saying that looks a lot to do with it. It's kind of right place, right time. The company that took me on expanded and these positions came available. So it fell into place really nice, to be fair.
Yeah, there's a lot about luck. It's always half the story, I think. I think it's true to say that people who find luck have put themselves in the right place, not necessarily with that outcome in mind, but in a way you do make your luck. Some things come just by pure chance, and other things come by sort of opening the door and being, opening the door to opportunity. So doing something like you did there, where you made that decision and went and got yourself that degree and put yourself in that place, fair play, right? So yeah, hopefully, I appreciate you sharing that story with us, and hopefully if even one person out there who is feeling stuck thinks they're going to go and give something a go, then that's great news, right? So
yeah, of course.
What about other hobbies, mate? What else do you do? I'm going to shout you out for a minute, because I've seen that you have been on a mad fitness train and you are absolutely smashing things doing and as a dad who's not happy with my own situation but doesn't do anything about it, fair play, hats off, metaphorical hats off, looking great, and smashing it, mate. So yeah, you're obviously into fitness. What else you got going on outside of music and work? I'm trying to get back into skateboarding. I used to skateboard when I was a kid. Nice.
And my daughter's shown interest in that, so that's something I want to do in the summer with her. But I went out a few times before the weather really plummeted, and I can still do a few bits, still do my kick flips and stuff. So still got it for an old fat man.
If you can still get the board around, then fair play, man. Fair play. Even getting the board off the ground is a challenge these days for me. So
yeah.
Yeah, my son Theo, he's nearly 3. He got a little sort of penny board sized airwalk board for Christmas, and he's absolutely loving just getting pulled along on it. So interested to see where he takes that over the next few years. But yeah, good for skateboarding, nice. Man. Yeah. Sounds. So I know you've got you're playing Interface, Port Nicky Black Market, and a few others next Saturday. It's going to be banging, and I've seen a couple of previews of some of the mixes you're going to be sending, so I'm looking forward to that. You got any other either events for yourself or artists that you want to shout out, make some noise about before we wrap things up?
Well, events-wise, not really. I think it's going to be a quiet year for me, to be honest. Concentrate on family and work and stuff. I'm just going to put music on the back burner a little bit. And yeah, so artist wise, everybody at GZ Audio, so Goozy's label, it was Subdivision, but obviously now he's kind of gone on his own path. GZ, those boys, every single one of them, we've got a group chat, and they're sending tracks to the chat, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, like I feel way out of my depth, like with the amount of talent of them boys. Yeah, they're just ridiculous. Shaper, Beskar, Goozy, Ominous, yeah, they're all fucking smashing it, honestly, like next level. So yeah, them boys definitely. Off License Records gave me my first release. If it weren't for them, you know, I don't think I'd be as far along in my journey as I am right now. You know, them guys, so cool, just a cool bunch of lads. Harrison is a legend. Like, so much time for that guy. You know, I've got to see him whenever I can. Obviously Caroline, Elisa, you know, we've collabed so much over the time. Again, become one of my best mates. And I've made a lot of really good friends through music, which is amazing. And like my latest friend, who actually lives around the corner from me in Oakwood, Stephen, he used to be an Accomplice back in the day. You should check out their music, they're really good. We started a duo together called Round Mine, which he came up with the name because he's always coming around to mine. So thought it was a nice little name to call it. So me and him are slow progress. We've made one tune in like 3-4 months, but it's a good tune, you know. So I don't think it matters. Time frame don't matter. As long as the music's good, like I don't think there's ever any rush, you know, to make it or put it out. Yeah.
Agreed, man. It's like I always say, if it ain't fun, it ain't right. And to be honest, like 90% of it just is if it's fun, right? It doesn't really matter where it ends up, what the outcome is. Maybe like when you're younger and stuff and you're driven to like have sort of awards or accolades, maybe it's different, but like nowadays, a bit older, it's about the process, right? It's about enjoying doing it, enjoying the interactions with people, enjoying the back and forth, getting to know people. Like, at least for me, that's what I love about this world at the moment. So yeah, you've been super sound as well, mate, so appreciate you kind of jumping into my life a little bit, being totally open, transparent, responsive. Like, big up yourself, mate. Take that one to the bank. You're a total legend, man. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, mate.
Safe, man. Well, I have really enjoyed this chat, man, and I'm excited to see what people make of this conversation. There's one other thing to cover, which is that, of course, what's a podcast about drum and bass without a drum and bass mix? And you did send in an absolutely wicked mix that I was caught off guard by when I dropped it. It starts with Music Club by Chasing Status, which is one of my all-time favourite tunes, and I haven't heard it in a bloody long time, and I was like, yes. So that can be found on the Interstellar Audio SoundCloud. It will be linked in the description for this as well. But is there anything you want to say about sort of how that mix came together, or like when you chose the tunes, what you were sort of aiming for, or anything like that? Was it just off the cuff, or was there a bit of thought behind it?
Yeah, it was just a bit off the cuff, to be honest. I was going to do 100% production mix. There are a few of my tunes in that mix, but I always just kind of get bored mixing my own music, if I'm honest, because I know what's happening. I like to kind of just mix on the fly, you know.
Yeah, be surprised by the double, that kind of
thing. And be like, oh my God. Exactly, yeah, which is what I've been doing all day. I've been so hyped. I'm knackered now because I've been dancing around, shouting in my kitchen. I don't know what my name is. All afternoon, like getting double, you know, seeing what works for next week and stuff. So yeah, it was just one of those, man. I think it flowed quite nicely.
It does, yeah.
I tried to kind of build it up, you know, so hopefully I achieved that.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. So that you can go and get that one on the SoundCloud. Of course, don't forget Interstellar Audio 001 Ruckus, You Know Better and Wrong Doing. Big shout out to anybody that's been supporting that pre-release, and of course to anybody that does support that when it's out as well. Thank you very much. Bro, I don't have much else left to say. I've run out of things to say, and seeing as I'm a bit of a waffler, that's quite surprising. But we covered everything on my show notes. We didn't have any technical hitches, and the recording's still going, so hopefully we're in a position where we're good to go. So big thanks to you, big thanks to anyone that's listened, and yeah, I guess peace out, right? Unless there's anything else you want to cover.
No, thanks for having me, man, and thanks for the opportunity to launch the label, man. That's a wicked thing to be a part of.
Oh man, it's all the honour's mine, man. Just as soon as you were like, yes, I'm going to make 2 for this, I was like, sweet. This is what I want. This is the kind of enthusiasm I want. So yeah, man, appreciate it. I will see you on Saturday night. We'll talk about linking up. But yeah, for now, I'll sign off from the recording. Peace.